said, well, they watch that shit pretty closely, and I said, just change the name to like Larry Flotter. And then as I was like going back and forth with him, I was like in this podunk town, and I drove past this place, and it was like, it wasn't the Olive Garden, it was like the Olive Cafe. It was something like,
like Green Olive Cafe or something.
And I said it to Kevin. I said, not the Olive Garden.
Yeah. when we used to go up to Cherokee, North Carolina, everything is knocked off.
Yeah, and the little Native American, they knocked off everything. Every single American company.
What's little? Why did you say little?
What?
Little Native American, like
the little town. It's little.
Yeah, I think he was getting tripped up with his little town and every little thing and putting little Native Americans.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Let's go to the pizza.
It's not that small.
The Pizza and the small, McDonald's, the
McDowell's.
Yeah, the McDowell's. Yeah.
Yeah, but on Etsy you can sell all the Harry Potter stuff.
They get taken down all the time.
What, the crafts that people are making?
Yeah, to sell. Yeah, like
really?
Yeah, it was I got busted once and it was an NFL team or something. I forget what it was that I put up, this is going back a couple years. It got taken down, and Etsy does monitor it, and then especially Harry Potter.
I don't know. I literally have seen over like 400 people selling stuff.
There's tons. Same with all the NFL teams. Yeah. Just as fast as they get taken down, they open up new accounts and they keep selling.
You got that right. You gotta sell this great looking stuff, man. I'll tell you, it's fantastic.
Yeah, nah. I'm just doing it because
like crackers.
No. I'm only doing it because I want to do the tree that way. It's a theme, and then I'll throw pretty much probably all of it away.
What?
Yeah. you really should. I mean, the wands though, you really should make a video on that because the wands.
But that's how I found out how to make them.
Yeah, then you make another video.
Somebody else already.
What's it made out of?
Invented this. So I went to the Dollar Tree, bought some of those cheap kebab sticks. Broke them to the size that I wanted and took hot glue and made the shapes and then painted it and put little.
It's all paper though, right?
Well, the wand?
No. All the other.
The other stuff I'm printing off, and I'm doing either like using like museum board or like foam board,
right? Or
I'm just doing it out of paper and making 3D ornaments.
I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah, and then I did buy some stuff from the dollar store, like some of the cheap like clear plastic ornaments, and then I'm filling them or doing stuff on the outside of it. And then they have plastic snow globes, so I'm going to do the whole part where they're in the deviation class with the crystal ball with one of the snow globes. It's going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah. I think you'd be foolish not to sell it.
Then of course she makes a little care package to take to the one girl at the physical therapy. So here I am waiting in the lobby of the physical therapy with like 6 other people that are there. I've got this box, Christmas with a bow on it.
It says Happy Christmas.
Yeah, and I'm just
like the fucking Pete the teacher's pet.
I do. And I'm just sitting there with my little box. So what's her Amanda, my girl for the day, comes up and she like looks at it, and then I have to shoot her down, and I'm like, oh, this is for Yasmin. And then she, like the look like, oh, okay. And then like, hey, before we start, session, so she takes me over to Yasmin. I'm like, hey, my wife made this for you. And then I walked away. But yeah, so yeah.
You didn't even wait to see what her reaction was?
She was with a patient or a client.
Oh, so you never even saw her open it?
Oh, no, she did. Like I said, I saw her later on because she had to finish up with her client. But yeah, here I am just sitting there with all these people, got my little gift, looking like a dick.
Hey, that came out awesome. I don't care what anyone says.
It did came out great.
I got knee therapy today.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's in the box? No, not telling you.
Yeah,
for Jasmine.
Yeah.
Today I worked on the floating candles, so I've been saving the toilet paper rolls. And then you take hot glue and you go around it and let it be dripping wax. Then you spray paint it white, and then you just put a little, like those little fake plastic candle tops in it, and then you hang it from the ceiling with some like fishing wire or whatever, so you can't see it. So they look like the floating candles
nice.
from like the hall, whatever, the food hall or whatever you call it, the Great Hall in the movie.
We can
So I'm doing because I'm
provide you with
doing
a lot of materials because I shit a lot.
Listen.
We have lots of tubes.
Listen, I only did like 12. That was it. I'm not doing any more because I'm only doing like a little theme area of the Harry Potter stuff. So
You know what? You should sell your stuff and then donate the money.
yeah.
That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense at all. Yeah.
Kevin
Yeah.
wouldn't allow that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jess's response was, yeah.
I'd rather just
Kevin's
get
like,
out.
what are you
Yeah.
fucking crazy, Kerr?
Yeah. No, it's fun and it's gonna be cute because I'm doing like a little Harry Potter like little luncheon theme thing for Christmas time for me and a couple people. So that was like the driving point. So I was like, oh, all right, I'm just gonna do a whole Harry Potter thing and see if I can do it. So
Is Kevin
Yep.
going to the luncheon?
what's that? No, it's just gonna be like my friend Shani, my friend
He's gonna wear a bunch of
Dan,
pillows and be haggard.
Amber's gonna come, my sister-in-law Sarah. Like just,
Where's it at? Here?
yeah, it's
Well, then, okay, then I'll be here.
no, you won't. You'll be at work. I'll make sure.
Peering through the door.
Yeah, good. You can be here. I'll lock you and the dogs in
Yeah.
here.
You can be Gargamel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then
Yeah.
we're like, so I'm doing it the weekend before
Smurfs.
my friend
Whatever.
is, because she's doing an
Azrael.
ugly sweater Christmas party that we have to go to. So I'm making like some cookies and some other like finger foods for her party. So.
Kevin, you wear an ugly sweater?
I sent him a link to some funny ones on Amazon.
I think I have one.
An ugly
I'm
sweater?
not buying a sweater for one party and never wearing it. Yeah, my mom got me an ugly sweater like
Probably all
years
sweaters are
ago.
just ugly
Where
too,
would it
so-
be?
I don't know, up in the closet somewhere.
Oh God.
I mean, like an ugly sweater is like $30-$40. I mean, to do that for a party?
Did you see the link I sent you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Make
Yeah.
your own.
It's funny that he says he won't buy an ugly sweater for a good friend's party, but he will buy a motherfucking costume to wear one time for a video. That's interesting.
To make
Well,
That's
the video brings
interesting.
money in.
to make money.
That's an investment and a write-off.
Is there a contest where I can win
Uh,
money at this party?
Are you making money off of your TikTok? That's why you buy most of those costumes for. I didn't know you made money on
What?
TikTok.
I do. I make like
Oh,
$50 a
Do
month.
you? Oh, okay.
I do.
Okay. When you decided to buy certain shorts, or when you bought the little hands, or when you bought the little streamers and all that stuff.
Yeah, that
was all you were
that's
making
all-
money then.
That's all TikTok.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
It's a business expense. Plus, those are
It's a business-
those are
Yeah.
statistics that
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
that you can.
Of course,
share
you're
with
going to back him, Kerr.
Yeah.
Well, no,
I
I'm-
expect nothing less from
Listen,
you.
if I was pulling out of my ass, you'd know. But those are statistics that you share with those who want to advertise with you to say, I'm on TikTok. These are my followers. These are how many views I get.
Okay.
And then it hooks people in. And so you got to
That's it.
write off a couple
Regardless-
small hands. It just happens
Yeah.
that way.
Regardless, he could buy a sweater that, yes, he's only going to probably wear one time. Big fucking deal for my
Just go to
friend's
Goodwill.
party.
Get a $5 sweater. I'm sure.
Like,
Kev,
you won't
get
wear a
get
used
Let's
sweater
do a
from
TikTok
Goodwill.
from the party.
Yeah.
It's like, see,
Whatever.
Jess, I'm trying to help you. Eh?
No, it's okay. I don't even
I'm
care if he
Switzerland.
goes. Like, he doesn't have to join in the festivities.
doesn't sound like you will.
Let's do our intro so we can get
Uh,
a festive conversation.
all right. I'm Broadleaf Bully Kevin.
I'm Broadleaf Bully Jess.
I'm Broadleaf Bully Care,
I'm Broadleaf Bully Jen.
and we are the
Broadleaf
Broadleaf
Bullies.
Bullies.
We talk. You listen. We're the Broadleaf Bullies. And here's your hosts, Kev, Kerr, Jessie, and Jen.
So, you guys look like you're off your A game today.
My
I'm
tummy.
tired.
My tummy is rolling. I'm on
What'd
this
you eat?
diet with yeah. No, it's like the
No,
No. He cannot blame this on any of that diet packet shit. Why don't you tell them what you fucking made and how much of it you ate?
I just made some biscuits and gravy.
Oh, biscuits and gravy, not just a biscuit and some gravy. He had 4 huge biscuits, and the whole thing was covered with gravy.
What kind of gravy?
And he ate it all.
Sausage gravy.
He made it. But like it was so much.
What kind of gravy
I
do you
was
think
like,
you would have on there?
I don't know. Maybe he had chicken gravy or beef gravy left over from a dinner.
Chicken gravy? Where the fuck are you from?
Chicken gravy.
Chicken gravy and biscuits?
Why not?
Yeah.
If you had chicken and made a gravy, you could put chicken on biscuits and pour some gravy over.
I don't think I've ever had chicken gravy.
That's just that. Honestly, you just made that up right now.
I did.
That's not even. That's not even a thing.
That's not even a thing.
Right
It's sausage gravy.
I'm going to be honest.
Upcycling gravy from chicken.
Fuck your upcycling and
trust me, that
fuck
word
your
just annoys
bullshit
absolute
last
shit out of me.
minute freaking chicken gravy out of nowhere
No.
just to try and
I
prove
have
you're
never
right.
had chicken gravy.
No,
I've had chicken gravy.
You have had chicken
Well,
gravy?
no, like on mashed potatoes, not like sausage
Oh,
gravy,
no,
but chicken
Well,
gravy.
if you had leftovers. I'm not saying you would make chicken gravy just to put on biscuits.
Well, I just can't see Kevin with like 4 biscuits just pouring
I
chicken
can.
gravy or ham gravy. What the fuck?
He
Who does
eats
that?
like
What
the
kind of
he eats
sanity?
Chef Boyardee out of a can.
Yeah.
It's true.
With some biscuits and just some gravy on top.
I can see him
Some canned gravy.
microwaving
Yeah.
canned gravy and just pouring it over something. And
There's
eating it.
cream chip beef, and then there's sausage gravy. There is no cream chip freaking chicken gravy.
There could be.
There is not.
I'm sure there is.
Oh, my neighbor years ago made me he did it was like chip beef, but it was with salmon, and it was like a salmon gravy.
Oh, now you know
Wow.
I don't ever.
It
eat
was,
anything that he makes.
It was you want to talk about exploding my innards. I
Wow.
mean, it was.
I love
yeah.
salmon,
God.
but that's I think with that gravy and the richness of the salmon would just be too much. It was like
I can't even.
you know Red Robin, right?
Yeah.
Years ago,
Robin.
years ago, they did the fish and fries. What do they call that?
Fish and chips?
Fish and chips. Thank you, fish and chips. But they made it with salmon,
Oh.
right? So there's a reason why they use mild white fish is because all that grease and all that shit.
Yeah.
And when you get an already oily, already rich freaking fish like salmon and deep fry it, the first bite you're like, hey, this is pretty good. The second bite, you're like, okay, this is not bad. The third bite, you're like, I think I'm gonna vomit.
Chicken gravy biscuits. Where's the camera? Chicken gravy biscuits.
Yeah, but you don't get to be right because it
I don't know where the hell.
I
that
could
was.
freaking Google anything
It
and show
looks
that it exists.
really
It doesn't
good.
mean that you knew what you were
Well,
talking about at the
because you had
moment.
leftovers. Basically, it's
You were
shredded-
talking about just regular gravy over biscuits, which
Well-
which is stupid.
Yeah, from having a chicken dinner. And that's
Okay,
what they
well,
talk about.
He's been eating his fresh meal or his
yeah.
diet meals and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But so Saturday he was like, he went to the store Friday. He was like, I am having sausage gravy and biscuits in the morning. Like that's what he was making. I looked at him and I was like, that is so much food.
It was
Kevin.
every bit of 1.5 pounds of biscuits and
It
gravy.
was a
Oh
lot.
my god!
He
Like-
ate
like-
it all.
Make that for Joe every now and
He
then.
Yeah.
ate the whole thing, and I was like, I looked at him and I went, and I literally took one
The amount of
biscuit,
fat in that.
split it in half, poured a little bit of sausage and gravy, and that's all I had.
I split 4 big biscuits.
4 and
Did you-
topped them off.
Did you smoke a cigar while you were eating it?
No,
Right afterwards.
I was okay. So you smoked one afterwards. So how far did you get that cigar before you were freaking having define the gravity with your shit?
No, it was later. It was many hours later.
Oh, that's it.
But then
Oh
it
my
was,
God.
and then
Yeah.
it was only 15
And then-
minutes between sessions.
yeah, and he was like, my
If I'd
belly
have smoked, if I'd have
hurts.
eaten that and smoked a cigar afterwards, my shit would be going this way. I mean,
And
it would.
I was washing it down with a Monster Energy, and
Oh my god!
God,
Yeah, he
It was,
definitely did. I came home, so then I went out and met my friend Shani, and we went and had some drinks and stuff. And I came home, and he was just laying in bed, and I could tell he just was so uncomfortable.
oh my
I was
God!
like, and then, but he got up this morning and ate the 3 biscuits he had left over, and the rest of the gravy this morning and ate it all again. He had it 2 mornings in a row.
I'm the same way. I'm like, I got leftovers. I got to
Yeah.
eat it, man.
Which is fine, but it was just the amount.
Yeah.
And I mean, I understand because he's been eating like a bird, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
you
because
know.
that was really like the first meal, like full
yeah.
meal I've had. I mean, we went out to Mexican a week ago. Other than that,
a week ago, it was like 2 weeks.
I mean, it's been like a month since I've eaten like a real meal.
Way to freaking A-bomb your cheat day.
Yeah, I know. Because last night last night was tomorrow night's my Marie calendar. So this is the week of all frozen. And I'll tell you what.
Go big.
So I've been ranking each one, writing on the back, keeping track of everything. I'll put the Marie calendars against both of those other fresh companies.
And I almost agree with him only because I've seen what he's been eating, but he screwed up and bought one that had some mushrooms. So I ate that one. That I was pleasantly surprised on how fucking good that frozen dinner was. It was steak, potatoes, green beans, and mushrooms, and it was so freaking good.
Have you eaten the steamers, the things that you get me?
I used to eat them at work all the time.
Those are the things that they come in like a plastic bowl, and then the
I saw those.
Or like in the thing,
remember I used to get the chicken pot pie ones.
Yeah, and I saw those when I was getting these. Those looked interesting.
But they're not filling, and it's not a whole meal. It's like kind of mixed together, but it is not filling. And I used to eat them all the time for lunches at work.
I lived on them when I was in Pittsburgh and single. I lived on them because they were like the what's the Giant Eagle. Giant Eagle would run a special and it would be like, 15 for $15. They would sell them for $1 a piece. And I was just, I'm like, hey, I'm set for the week. I lived on them. And I worked out. And you talk about you'll lose weight instantly when you do that kind of shit. But
I used to always get the chicken pot pie one, or like the chicken and dumpling one, or like a steamed rice and vegetable one, and like it just was never like filling. Probably because I just wasn't eating breakfast and I was waiting to eat lunch, and it just wasn't enough. I probably needed to have something like some other protein with it.
If you balance out the meal too, I mean, I would get them, and I'd get like a rotisserie chicken, and that would last me a couple of days too.
Yeah.
But I was eating, like, I'd take the skin off it, I would eat the chicken, and I would eat one of those. So I was like,
yeah.
I
know. I'm definitely. So he now got the meal to cook. Fresh meal.
Tomorrow starts the.
So we're gonna. I get to cook again for him. Yay!
So and that price really wasn't bad. It was
what did you say?
I think for 2 people, like 1 meal a day for an entire week, it's like $85.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
Good.
And this is good for dinner, so it feeds 2.
Yeah. So we'll try that. But the Marie calendars at like whatever they are, $4 a meal versus what did I say freshly was almost 12 or 12.50 a meal.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a much better way.
Yeah, so definitely interesting though how you gravitated towards the frozen though. Like
I came a long way. Like there's
it really has.
And I'm going to do a video comparing, and I know someone's going to ask me that. Oh, hey, why don't you do frozen? So I wanted to pick 2 of the most popular meals out there, and then a frozen. And
I just wish we did have like one of those restaurants that are all over the place except for near us.
Yeah, the ones you were telling about.
Like there's some really good ones. Like I know one guy that I follow on Instagram in North Carolina, that's how he lost a lot of his weight, was getting the meal prep foods and going to this restaurant. And I was like, damn it, I do wish we had that so you could compare it with that as well.
Yeah.
But we don't. So
what are you guys smoking?
I am smoking The Gatekeeper by Alec Bradley.
Which one by Bradley? I'm sorry.
The Gatekeeper.
What else you got over there?
Oh, and then the Alec Bradley.
The Kintsugi.
Kintsugi.
Ooh, I love that cigar.
I do too. Sometimes though it is hit or miss with the construction.
It's unfortunately the last one I had. I had to put it down about halfway. It just went all over the place.
I've been getting a Harry Potter burn.
Yeah.
The scar.
Yeah.
It freaking goes down.
Well, this one, The Gatekeeper, had like a little line that started to come down. It ran, but then it evened itself out pretty fast. And I was like, oh no, not The Gatekeeper. I love that cigar.
And I am smoking the Herrera Esteli, the little red label one, and then a backup. Yeah, and then back up the Herrera Esteli Miami,
That's a good
which is
cigar.
also a very but a very inexpensive cigar. Like I said, I bought this cigar. Like I said, I think I'm only down to like a half a box.
I mean,
But,
The original red label is still my favorite.
Yeah, the Kintsugi though, it literally is it's just the construction, like that's hit or miss. It's not the flavor or anything.
No.
It's literally just the construction.
Yep.
Sometimes is, what are you smoking, Kerr?
I'm smoking a sampler barber pole from
Nice.
a factory in Honduras.
Nice.
right on.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah, it was I smoked that one. Were all the barber poles you sent me, were those all the same?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure if they were different. Yeah, it's
Will they
I
taste different?
I only smoked one. I smoked one the other night or last night or 2
It's not
nights ago.
bad.
No,
the flavor wasn't bad. I mean, it was good.
yeah.
I like the Habano better.
Oh, nice.
The Habano too.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, that was the first one I tried.
Yeah.
That was I sent you that. That was a great cigar.
That was really good. Yeah,
That
the
was a
Habano 3, I actually I had some hit or miss issues with the Habano 3, and with this one here, same thing. But the Habano 2 was that was a good, really nice flavor too. Really good flavor cigar. So I got that, and then I'll smoke later on. Maybe I think I got a leftover Silent Green.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that your diet's working well. I'm not. I feel bad because your GI issues, because when you're going on eating healthy and then you go right to that heavy, greasy, creamy.
Yeah, I know. I learned
tonight.
No, you didn't. You will do some shit again.
Yeah,
He will.
Right. You know what? That's the reason why they made toilet paper, soft toilet paper.
Yeah.
It is. Well,
Hopefully, you have more than one ply.
yes.
Yeah.
Kevin bought the toilet paper this last time.
But Jen made.
Last time we bought it in bulk.
Tonight, Jen made this. What did you make? Beef what?
I made a beef tenderloin
that she grilled.
I had also a.
I was going to get to that part.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, the beef part, but then she made a lamb, the lamb roast,
boneless lamb loin.
Lamb loin. I love lamb.
I've never heard of a lamb loin.
Yeah. And cooked it over top of potatoes, and then crisp up the potatoes, and
like oven brown potatoes.
You made
yes, and no, I used baby potatoes and sliced them in half, and seared. So basically, the lamb loin is lamb. It looked like it was butterflied and then rolled, so it's more into the loin. And then I seared it on all four sides, put it on top of the potatoes to use that as the rack, and then roasted it in the oven.
So
that way, this way the juices drip into the potatoes.
And then she made my least. I'm a vegetable guy. I love vegetable. Made the vegetables that I'm like, I do not like these vegetables, Jen. Out of all the vegetables in the world, I will eat. She got the bag of the frozen mixed vegetables with like green beans, corn, peas, carrots.
You don't like any of those?
No, I love all of them, but that mixed frozen vegetables together just has a very horrible consistency.
It does.
It's like I don't know what it is. It's just when you combine all them together, it just takes me back to my childhood of like this is the generic shitty bag of vegetables. And also she knows the running joke is at her dad's house years ago. He's like, "Hey, you guys want breakfast?" I'm like, he goes, "Hey, Kerr, you want a vegetable omelet?" I'm like, "That's great." He opened up one of those fucking frozen bags and made it.
So disgusting.
I looked at this thing and I'm like, "What?"
I kind of want to try it now.
Ew,
why would you take my most favorite thing in the world and add my least favorite ingredient?
Who adds carrots, string beans, peas?
Fuck, it was horrible.
Corn to an omelet. Can you add anything?
Vegetable omelet? These are vegetables and all added up.
God. When he dumped that bag in, we're just
I'm
And the only thing that would have made it worse if he opened up a can and draining off the water, and it had like the brown green beans, and he dumps them into the pan.
Oh
You
my
know what? Though?
God.
I'll
He ate it, though.
I'll eat some canned vegetables
I hate canned
before I'll
Oh,
eat
see,
that mixed vegetable for some
Canned
reason.
green beans.
I don't
I
like.
can eat them all day
Yeah.
long.
Me too. I love canned
No.
green beans.
No.
I'm
Canned carrots
all
and
about
I-
them canned. Yeah, canned carrots, no, but
No.
canned green beans.
Canned corn,
I
canned
can
green
fucking-
beans. Yep.
I can eat the
I'm
shit
with
out
you.
of some canned green
I
beans.
wanted string beans, so I grabbed a bag of that, and I'm like, oh, Kerr really doesn't care for string beans. He'll eat them, but it's not his favorite. So I just grabbed a mixed bag, not
And
Oh,
thinking.
you know
And
I
then
hate
as
that
I'm
fucking
cooking
mixed
them,
vegetable.
I was laughing to myself because I'm like thinking of the
Fucking
omelet.
hate it.
Yeah.
It's the worst vegetable
So the deer got
ever.
You
So
throw
I mean,
myself.
I'll get the bag of like carrots and peas.
Yeah.
I'll eat that.
We buy the steamers,
I'll eat
like the
corn
broccoli
and peas.
and,
I'll eat
and the
corn and
carrots.
carrots. But when you add corn, carrots, peas, and those bullshit freaking green beans, 'cause for some reason it's like the rejects they put in there. They upcycle the freaking ends of the green beans for that bag of freaking vegetables.
I don't.
and it
I'm
sucks.
not a carrot fan, as in like cooked carrots.
I know.
I'll eat them, but I'm not. I avoid them.
Sin, I love
Yeah.
cooked
I don't-
carrots. I do.
I
love
like
them in
cooked carrots.
stews and stuff, like fresh carrots that you cook in a crock
Yeah.
pot, like
love
for
that.
like chicken
Yeah.
and dumplings or like
Yeah,
beef
yeah.
stew or
Yeah,
something like that.
that's different.
Yeah, like
raw carrots are my
fresh,
least
like,
favorite. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like the frozen, we buy the steamers. We always get like the broccoli and
That's
like
what
the
I get,
carrots
too.
and stuff. But they're like it's usually really good vegetables that they use. But every
Yep.
once in a while, I'll just buy the cheap,
I
like
just
great
grab
value
them in
brand
the
of
bag.
broccoli for the kids because they eat broccoli like it's going out of style. Like Wyatt and
Love
Gabby will
carrots.
eat the shit out of broccoli.
Broccoli gives me the farts.
So speaking
Good
of
for you,
grocery
though.
shopping
Well, hold on.
today-
One more thing though.
Oh.
So, have you had lamb? You like lamb?
It's been probably 10 or
Yeah, it's
15
been a
years
long-
sinst I've had
it's
lamb.
probably
So
been-
yeah,
it's
I
probably
honestly
been that
don't
for me,
remember what
too.
lamb tastes like. It's
I
been so
cook it a
long.
couple times. a
Yeah,
year.
it can be kind of gamey, but it's got a different
Yeah.
flavor to it.
Yeah.
But I
used
love
to
it.
eat it as a kid
I
all
love
the
it.
time.
And so the lamb drippings got into the potatoes. So I ate the potatoes. I'm like, they're really good. So there was like 6 little potatoes on my plate. I ate them. They were delicious. The lamb was delicious. The vegetables were not. So
Made salad as
I went
well.
back and ate more freaking potatoes. And then I realized the grease and the gaminess that was not in the lamb was in the potatoes after you reach the freaking over under of 6.
Yeah, yeah.
The over under was 6. Anything
Yeah.
over that, I was like, oh.
I didn't eat the potatoes.
Joe
I
ate
went with
one.
the rice that I made.
Joe
Roast
ate
beef
one,
off.
spit it out, and then had to go outside and was gagging
Yeah.
horribly.
Really?
because of the
It
it's
was very strong.
very strong
Oh, really?
candy flavor.
So
Yeah.
the beef tenderloin was the fillet was just a peppercorn. Unbelievable. It was from Aldi's. I have to say, I was thoroughly impressed with both meats. They're on sale this week. If you get a chance, go
Your
to
beef
Aldi's.
was really
The
good.
beef was so freaking, and there were 2 tenderloins in this package. Grilled them both, let them rest. Absolutely perfect. And made rice pilaf to go with
It was
because I
really
knew
good.
The potatoes would be too strong for me to eat. I like lamb, but not super gamey.
She's a big steak and beef person.
Yeah.
I will eat it. I do like it. But
You're
if
not.
but if somebody says, Carrie, do you want a steak, or would you rather have a pork chop or a pork? I'll take pork any day of the week. I
Yeah,
love fucking pork.
Kevin, when I first started dating Kevin, like he was huge into like just turkey patties and
Yeah, I'm a
chicken
big
and
turkey guy.
he
I love.
likes
I
turkey.
like turkey.
I like
you know,
turkey too. I cooked the turkey
Turkey and chicken.
last week.
Yeah, he cooked the Thanksgiving. That was after Jen. Jen's brilliant. Okay, I've been sick for a week,
yeah.
and I've eaten for 2 weeks, and in that period of time, I've eaten freaking maybe half a can of chicken noodle soup and a bunch of water. So my first meal, when I get ready and I get healthy, is chili.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
She makes chili. She eats chili.
It was delicious.
She
too.
shits
It
it
was
all
awesome.
out. It was almost
I was
like
so
freaking
sick.
from her mouth to her butthole. There was no freaking. There's nothing. Then her second meal is a Thanksgiving Day dinner.
The turkey.
Once
was
again,
fantastic. Mashed
There was
potatoes,
no
gravy,
resistance from her
cranberries.
mouth to her butthole. And I'm looking at her going, you haven't eaten in 2 weeks.
Because I've been in bed.
I know, but the
sleeping
chili
and doing
smells so
the-
good. I'm like, yeah,
I
but
so want
fucking-
more of it. And he's like, don't eat it. I'm like, it
I'm like, you
was
just-
such a great batch.
it was a great batch. We saw freaking both ends of it. So
Yeah.
The
Why-
turkey was really good.
why don't you
too.
do your upcycle
So-
freaking cookies, which I
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah,
I just
well,
want to say real fast though is that I could eat ham all the time.
I was going
I'm a
to
big
do
fan of
ham
ham.
today, but
I love
Joe and
ham.
I went
Oh,
out
me
for a
too.
while, and I
Love
like
it.
to slow cook it. And Kerry was out, so I don't like leaving. I won't leave the oven on if we're not home. So, and I'm even weird with crock pots with no one.
Yeah.
I'm like you. I love
But
ham.
I love ham. I was
My
gonna do that
mom
today.
used to make ham gravy,
Oh,
and she
yeah,
used
my
to
mom
make the
too.
best
Mhm.
flipping ham gravy. And not a lot of people.
I had to learn how to make
They're
it.
like, I never heard of ham gravy
Neither
before.
did I.
It's
Ever.
good.
I'm like, my mom would make the best ham gravy on your potatoes. Oh my God, I'd
Mhm.
do it. And after we're done, the thing in Pennsylvania was to make this kind of, I don't know, it wouldn't be considered a soup. It was more like a stew, but it
Stew.
was green beans, ham,
yeah.
and potatoes.
Yep.
Chunks
And
of
people do that too in the South too with the green beans. You take the ham bone and you do the beans too with the ham bone.
Yep.
Oh, it's so
I
good.
was going to do a ham
the
next
collards.
Sunday, but we're going to be
Yeah,
in
collard
Jacksonville over
greens.
the weekend. So
Yeah.
by the time we get back, I won't be able to cook. But so I'm at Aldi's, and yeah, it was actually not that crowded going through the aisles and grabbing a bunch of stuff. And something caught my eye, and I'm like, what the? Why do certain words have to be used with everything? And it's like everyone has a word that annoys them, whatever it may
You know
be.
what-
We go around it.
You know,
But
hers is
Upcycle is just
it's not our safe word.
overused. No. So the fact that there's upcycled cookies made me stop.
I feel like that's fantastic.
Well, I knew you would, Jessica.
Are you going too far? Upcycle.
So I'm gonna read the back of this.
All
You
right.
guys already. So it says it helps reduce food waste and have a positive impact economically and on the climate change. It's estimated that 40% of food is wasted, and a big problem for society and the planet. Reducing food waste is the fastest way to fight climate change and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So you're telling me
Yes.
the front says upcycling is creatively saving food that otherwise would be wasted. The food we've rescued in our new delicious
They
line of
rescued it.
cookies included okara, a nutritious pulp left over from tofu and soy milk products.
Is it okra or okara? What is
Okara.
okara? What is that?
Okra is a vegetable. Okara
No, I know,
is
but
from
what is
pulped
okara?
tofu.
It's
Oh,
pulp. That
tofu.
pulp Kev was
Okay.
talking about
So-
earlier.
I'm sorry.
It's a lot of
this-
saturated fat in here, though.
This
Is
has
there?
a shitload of
I'm going to be
sugar in it. In
upcycling my
fact,
cholesterol medication.
exactly. I don't see this saving the planet, and basically
You don't eat enough of it. That's
every
why.
leftover is an upcycle now. So the word is just over.
But
I don't want to try.
Why
Let
do
me
people
try the
say
oat
leftovers is
You
considered
use the oat
upcycling? It's just fucking leftovers. Like,
Well, upcycling is taking a product and making it.
apparently-
new.
apparently, right next to the rescue center for dogs is the rescue center for soy
Yeah.
pulp.
Exactly. So this is the
vanilla one.
vanilla oat milk. So
Okay,
at least we're getting milk from oats. That one is the tofu soy one.
but now
But you see-
didn't they have to change that? They can't call it.
No, not yet. They're
Oh,
working on
okay.
that.
I was
What's
gonna say
that?
they can't call it milk anymore.
Oh yeah, they're working on that.
Like
So
almond
here's-
milk can't be almond milk.
you have to give like a full perspective here, where this bag seems like it's in a very eco-friendly bag.
Okay.
The smell it smells like cookies.
Okay.
It does not, though. Let me smell that one. That at least you could smell some sort of fake chocolate. This I can't smell much,
Well,
but I'm still
why
very,
you just get the fuck away from the smell?
Just put it in your mouth.
still very
It
congested.
smells kind of vanilla.
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 I gotta tell you something. I'm curious on something on this.
It tastes like a bad dog biscuit.
Well, I have
Yeah,
not
from
had
the
a dog
ingredients,
bath.
that's how I imagined it would taste.
There's 110. There's 110 grams of sodium. Mine's very salty.
Yeah.
It is. It's 110 grams of sodium. It's very salty.
This has 140 milligrams of sodium.
Wow. And how many servings is
4 cookies is 140
100.
calories.
God.
How big are they? Show me a full one.
So
Ah,
the
they're
the
not
first
big.
3 ingredients is cane sugar, grain oats and upcycled oat milk.
Yeah, when you have a bunch of poop, add some sugar to it.
So let me ask you
Of
a
course,
question
and then
though.
it's 3.5 grams of saturated fat.
Put aside all of that cost wise. What was the cost of those versus like
I don't know.
a bag of cookies you would buy?
I have no clue what the price was. This was towards the end of my trip, and I had a really big grocery cart, and I don't look at prices half the time anyway.
Yeah, I just was curious. Is it even like
you're buying those and putting those elves out of work?
The aftertaste is really. I'll send these down to you.
No, thank you.
The aftertaste is
mighty nice of her, right? I'm gonna
upcycling.
She zipped it first. I'm gonna send these to you.
Yeah, gonna put it in a mail truck, and then which goes on a bigger truck, and then all this pollution, and by the time it gets to us, your carbon footprint is going to be through the roof on this cookie.
I know there is no saving the planet now, and there'll probably be like ants and all that shit.
I have to say the chocolate chip is better than the oat milk.
Yeah,
not by much though. The chocolate has a really bizarre taste. And it's very.
We're saving the planet. It's eco-friendly. We're just gonna have all these trucks and planes
it's
go down
here. Saving the planet by killing you off because the sugar's so flipping high and the sodium that you're gonna have a stroke and your diabetes is gonna go through the roof.
Yeah. How is the first ingredient is sugar, the second ingredient salt? Yeah. It's like what? This doesn't make sense at all.
I can understand if somebody like was making like their own homemade cookies, right? From like leftover. Because a lot of people make their own like almond milk, even though it's not almond milk, but like they'll make their own stuff.
How do you milk almond?
Very carefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but what are they calling it now?
Yeah. Well, it's still almond milk.
It's just
for now.
Almond drink.
These have no flavor.
No. But I mean, I just why produce those and make them? I mean, where are they getting their product? Is this a product they already make and then now they're using it to make cookies as well? I'm so confused.
These cookies are the ones that you eat because like right now we just did what we did and we're like, these suck, so they go in a cabinet. And then one night you had a little too much to drink and there's nothing else to eat in the cabinet.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, these are the best fucking cookies in the world.
Yeah.
And then the next day you have oily discharge.
Yeah.
Your stomach hurts.
And calling almond milk is like calling Sunny D orange juice. You know, so yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
I can't see buying these because I don't think I have to look up the price now. I don't think they were cheap.
I just wonder what the cost is.
I think I'd rather have a Hydrox. They probably are healthier.
Yeah, I'd rather have a generic.
Why do you put your cookies there?
I don't want
you finish your fucking cookie.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, you know what? Here it is. It's all in marketing, right? You got the word upcycled and you got the freaking planet on it.
Yeah.
Right there. About freaking 80% of the purchases are going to be from freaking.
Well, like, okay,
so
like
who want to freaking do it, they can save the planet,
like,
but then they realize the freaking nutritional value of these things are freaking it's like might as well take a bite of stick of butter.
Like, okay, like also people when they go to the store and they're like, oh, I bought organic. Do they even know what they're actually buying and what they're talking about? Like they think because it says organic that now it's the healthiest fucking apple on the planet.
It's the same people are like, I don't eat GMO. Then you don't eat because there hasn't been a fruit or vegetable in
free range.
Yeah,
it's free range.
That's the same. Yeah.
Now free range, I can believe that if you're part of like a co-op or if like we have a friend who does her own chickens and all that stuff, we know where that's coming from. But when you're going to an actual
because you
food
know
store,
what you're getting.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. If you're going to a food store, that's not where that's coming from.
Well, no. Well, when we have these conversations and you say that, I'm going with the assumption that you know what you're talking about, and we're talking about the average consumer who will look at free range, upcycled, freaking organic, natural, steel oats and whatever the hell, steel Hall and Oats or whatever the hell that they want to look at.
They're $2.99 for a bag.
That was the fucking worst.
Horrible.
Freaking
$6. Well, and then then you look at Jeff Borshowitz when he's got his FSG beef, he wasn't allowed to put on like part of the sticker because he does have it where you can buy it. And it was something with like FDA. it was a weird FDA sticker that you could put on it because he refuses to use like hormone treatments or any of that other stuff. So like what people would consider like, ooh, that's got that sticker. It must be good for you. He's not allowed to put that because he won't put the garbage in his fucking cows. So he's not allowed to have whatever.
It's weird too, because like a lot of times too, when farmers do like antibiotics and stuff, they do have to disclose like what was in the antibiotics, because sometimes they do slip like a hormone type thing in there, or like a steroid. So then people like talk about like chickens and stuff, and like you read all these articles like, well, duh, they put steroids.
The big chicken. I want a big chicken.
That's a big ass fucking chicken. Yeah. And and they talk about, oh, the kids like intake. Yeah, look at what you guys just ate sugar wise. Everything has so much more in
I'm a chicken here. Bok bok.
Yeah. Shit. But yeah, it is true though, like what some people are willing to pay for, because it said, oh, it's organic. This was made pure. Like I know when I started doing the gluten-free and casein-free for Gabby when she was small, like I read everything about autism and celiac disease, and like I literally like researched the shit out of it, and the benefits of treating her autism like she had celiac disease was basically there's stuff in like vitamins, certain dyes, certain like foods would set her off. I don't care what anyone says. Like I am a firm believer that there is certain shit in foods that just aren't good for people, right? Yeah, like it affects them in a negative way. So when I took Gabby off of all of that and started trying to do more like gluten-free stuff, and then as soon as I took all the casein out of her diet, she was like a totally different child. Like there was just so much shit that she was affected by, and it was for her. Like if I did that for Graham, it wouldn't do the same thing for him because he didn't have an issue like that, and I would slowly introduce her back to stuff, and like vitamins, she just cannot take vitamins. There's something in the dye in certain vitamins.
Could be the filler.
Just set her the fuck off.
Could be the filler too. I mean, that's,
I've tried different ones, even from the doctor. We prescribed some, and there's just something in, and it could be the fillers. You're right. But people I've researched, and if anything was going to affect her in a negative way, I would never have done it. Like I'm not, and some people do all these things and put their kids on stuff, and I'm like, did you even research that? Do you even know what you're doing to your kid's body?
Well, like, you'll see that with generic meds. Like if you get like,
I know Wyatt was allergic to his.
If you get your generic meds, and if it's generic, like this is made by this company, and you're getting your prescription, it's fine. And as soon as you get it, you're like, why is my pill different color or whatever? Oh well, this is made by another company. We had folks that were getting freaking sick off of things like antibiotics and also.
Do they use like crushed eggshell as a filler?
I don't know. Each company uses different fillers, and it just depends on what it is. I mean,
that's what they were trying to say, that possibly why it was allergic to the generic Synthroid. And I was like, I don't care. He was on name brand Synthroid since he was born. All of a sudden, they wanted to put him on generic because they didn't want to. Insurance didn't want to pay the amount anymore, and he literally had to go in the hospital twice. Every time they tried to put him on it, he had to go in the hospital. He had a reaction. His lips turned blue. His heart practically stopped, and so he's been on name brand Synthroid ever since because he had. I'm not taking that risk.
A lot of their fillers. We had years ago. I can't remember what the generic company was, but they were making all of the. This one antibiotic, and the doctors are like, everyone's getting sick. It's the filler, and it was like on a consistent basis. And then he knew something was up because he wrote another medication, and it was made by the same company. They still use the same filler, and they have their different chemical structure and compound because of the drug, but the filler was the same shit they use with the other drugs they make them. People were getting sick on that too, and it was the difference between like an antibiotic, and I think the other one was like a benzodiazepine, like an Ativan or something.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
I mean, it can happen. I mean, it's, it always says, do not take this medication if you're allergic to this medication or any of its ingredients.
Yeah.
And that's part of their ingredients is what they use as a filler. And every company uses something a little bit different.
Yeah.
The branded companies that make their stuff, even when it goes generic, they're still held by the standard that was approved by the FDA, and they have to use the exact same measurements, the exact same stuff that was approved by the FDA. Generics, they can use different fillers, and they can have a 20% bioavailability higher or lower.
Wow, 20%.
20%. So the reason why you've seen, like back in the day when lithium went generic and all these psychiatric wards wanted to go to get generic lithium, depends on the generic company. You got a medication either completely zombified the person or it didn't work, because that 20% variance for someone who's using medication with a very thin therapeutic window could be, it's the difference between it freaking working and not working.
Damn.
Yep.
That's
That's why some generic meds, like generic Tums, I won't even go near. They're just freaking candy. They're like freaking eating a Flintstone vitamin. I got to get the brand name Tums. The generic stomach meds like Prilosec, and I used to get the generic Zantac back when they were selling Zantac back in the day.
Yeah,
I'd have to take 2 of the generic Zantac because the generic Zantac never worked. I always had to get brand name Zantac.
I had to do liquid for Wyatt of the Zantac, and it smelled minty. Like it had like a minty smell to it when he would like burp it up or like have his reflux and stuff. It would be like I don't know if it was a mixture between whatever acidic was coming up, but
Zantac, there's 2 forms of Zantac they had. They had their base medication, and then they actually came out with a mint Zantac, because mint is a natural stomach.
Maybe that's what they gave him.
Because you could ask Jen, there's times where
small.
If in order to cut down on my Tums intake, I would chew gum. I chew mint gum because that settles your stomach.
Oh, okay. That makes
plus
sense.
saliva as well. That along with the mint. So I would take the mint Zantac, and it was freaking same thing. I'd burp up mint, but it was like it was soothing on your esophagus,
that makes
soothing
sense
in your stomach and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember like always like being like smelling him and be like, man, you smell like mint. Like, where is this mint coming from?
I was just watching something a couple months ago on the dangers of drinking grapefruit juice with most medications.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it'll really fuck you up.
Drug interaction, not only your stomach but also drug interactions. It's depends on the medication. I mean, shit. I like something like caffeine. There's some drugs that have a high freaking drug interaction with caffeine because of the pathway the liver uses to process it.
Shit.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Theophylline's a medication you use it's like an oral bronchodilator, and you have to really watch its levels, because if it goes too high, it can be deadly. So it's a very thin window of therapeutic level, but it interacts with everything because it's an older drug. And back when they were making older drugs, they didn't realize just how complex the liver system was. All of the different pathways that medications are either inhibit the pathway or it's metabolized through that pathway. And all the older drugs kind of use the same pathways for some reason. So if you have a bunch of drugs trying to be freaking synthesized through a pathway in your liver, and if they're all fighting for that area, you can have some medications that build up in your system higher because it's being blocked. It's like a traffic jam, So like if you were drinking coffee and you took this drug, your levels could freaking go up 50% just because you drank coffee. And it's a stronger inhibitor of that pathway in the liver.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I guess I should read my whenever I get a prescription, I should read that closer then.
Yeah, there's some pretty neat articles if you ever get
do you
bored.
drink grapefruit juice?
No.
You drink cranberry.
We're talking about caffeine and everything else.
You don't drink caffeine that much.
But if you it's called the P450 system is in your liver. And if you ever get an article and read about all the different pathways and how drugs either inhibit it or they're metabolized through it, God bless you. God bless you. I sold a drug that actually it wasn't in its active form until it went through your liver, and then it would activate it. And then when it went through your liver again, it would deactivate it. So there's all sorts of crazy stuff these drugs can do, and your liver plays a big role in it.
Yeah.
It was 3 minutes of nerdiness. So I apologize.
Now you know.
Now you know.
Didn't know,
That's it.
now you know.
When you sneeze, when I was at physical therapy Friday, I don't know if it was one of the girls or a patient sneezed like 4 times in a row, and I could hear it in my room. And then Amy, Amanda, whatever her name is.
Okay. How many times are you gonna bang your arm?
Just once. So after like the 4th sneeze, I'm like, she needs to get her shit together. I go, 4's a lot. And she about pissed her fucking pants. I'm like, yeah, 3, that's enough. That's enough. 4, you can control the 4th sneeze. But yeah.
You sound like my dad when I was younger. It was like if I cough too much, if I sneeze too much, he'd be like, "What are you doing? Stop that!" I'm like,
It was like last Monday or Wednesday. We're in the same room and all the girls are cackling outside, and she goes, "What are they laughing at?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know if they're going to keep cackling. One of them girls finally going to lay them eggs. I don't know what's going on out there." And
upcycle an ass whooping, Kevin.
I know. Yeah, one of these girls. Yeah.
No, Jessica, look her scared at you.
Yeah.
The fact that he keeps saying girls though is what is really like.
They're all children.
Me.
They're
He's
all
like,
children. They're all my daughter.
men?
They're all my daughter's age.
There
so
is
they're
men
girls.
there. There are men.
There's a man there, and I think he feels a little. I think he feels a little intimidated by me. Like I get like the thing because he's a young fit, but he's like a foot shorter than me. So he's got like a really close cut beard, like almost like a 5 o'clock, like what you got, Kerr. Not even what you have, Kerr. Less of a beard than that. So I get the impression like he was top dog before I came in, and like he feels a little threatened by me because I'm more manly than him. Because I'm like the youngest.
That's what he thinks.
I'm like the youngest person there by like 30 years on most days. So when I come in, I feel like he's threatened by me.
Oh my god!
Like he used to be like the cock of the walk, but when I come strolling
I feel like I need to go.
He realizes
that
a man has walked in.
I need to go to one of your sessions.
You do.
And check out all these.
Whether it's cigar influencer or the rehab center, Kevin dominates.
I do. I dominate. Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, that is
like
funny,
my beard.
Man. That is so
have
funny.
A freaking close cut, freaking 5 o'clock shadow.
No. I said his is shorter than yours. It's not even like a real.
Mine's
beard.
all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah.
Though. But
I feel like he's threatened by me.
Oh,
I feel
I'm sure
like that.
he's not.
Your extra 12 inches in your beard and 12 inches in your height.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's there getting therapy on his knee.
Yeah.
How much damage do you think he thinks you can do to him?
Yeah.
You said he was pretty.
I mean, he's pretty fit. He probably whipped my ass. I don't know. 10 years younger than me, and he doesn't have a bad knee. So yeah, he's probably quick. But all
he needs to do is be quicker than you, Kev.
Yeah, well, that's it. But I play dirty. Just get me near the barbells. I'll just still swing a 45-pound dumbbell.
Have you ever been in a fight in your life?
Yeah,
I think Kevin thought this out.
No. I'm being like, this is a serious question.
Yeah.
Have you actually ever been in a physical fight with someone?
Yeah.
How old were you?
Oh God, late 18, 19.
Kevin,
20.
You are 44 years old. That was a long time
That's why I got to
ago.
fight dirty now. You pick up a goddamn rock. I'm too old to get fucking, Kerr knows how it is. We work with our hands. We can't be swinging.
Kerr is not backing
we can't be swinging hands at 45 years old. You swing a rock. You swing a rock.
No.
I actually the whole fighting thing. I think I was probably 30 when I didn't fight like I didn't throw a fist from 20 some years old to 30. I just, it was just at 30, I had a confrontation and I realized at that moment that you have more to lose.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting older and you just can't throw a fist to solve the problems, even though you want to. And it was at a freaking Irish bar and 3 guys were freaking trying to block my way into the bar because they were running their mouths.
Ugh.
And I'm like,
would it make you wonder, like those guys that you see, even on like people who film them on like TikTok or whatever, and you see them, they're like, God, they got to be in their 40s or 50s, and they're they want to fight people. And I'm thinking, like, what is going on in your life that you feel this need
nothing.
to beat
That's the problem.
shit out of people?
No. And
So
it's
bizarre.
like if I ever have to take a swing at someone, it's going to be like for something serious. It's not going to be something stupid. Like today, when I had to meet Duncan today, right? Because he left his iPad here. So I get off the exit and I'm getting off and I'm pulling in, and there's this like low cut, chopped Chevy pickup truck with the glass packs on, like up my ass.
Yeah.
And goes around me, and I'm like, and they're like, I was like, all right. So I see they pulled in a gas pump. So I pulled a gas pump right next to them.
Yeah.
And I get out, and it's literally this little punky guy with his sweatpants on and a t-shirt. And I get out, and it was like, you kid, I get out, I was like,
yeah.
And he just looked at me and quickly looked away. And I was like, freaking, some people get that road rage. You want to get out, say something to them, take a swing. You don't know, everybody's, and you don't know who's carrying a gun anymore. I mean, God almighty,
that's the thing.
And most of the people are stupid. They just want to pull out a gun to scare you, and then they it discharges. So it's not like when I was younger and I get into a fight, you didn't have to worry about that. Or you didn't think about it because you're young and stupid. But no, it's just, I tell Joe, he's 17 years old. I'm like, listen, dude, I said, I know it's hard to understand this right now, but it takes more strength and a bigger man to walk away from a fight, because if you take, anybody can take a swing. It does not take anything to take a swing at someone.
No, you're right though. Like, we live in an age where you just don't know what people are gonna do.
And we live in a litigious society. I say, you take a swing at me, I'm just gonna call a lawyer. I'll take everything you own.
That's what I'm saying.
I always think of that from that movie. What was it? Green Fried Tomatoes, where she's there's a part where these young girls take her parking spot and she like gets pissed off, backs out, and kept plowing into their car. And they're like, "What are you doing, lady?" She's like, "Face it, girls, I have fucking better insurance than you." She's like, "Fuck you," like, she was like, "Fuck it." Like, you might be young and you can do whatever you want, but you don't have the money.
Plus, it's like, especially when there's someone who's younger, like now, if there's some young punk, you're in a no-win situation, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, everybody's got a camera, so everyone's going to video record it. Yeah. So everyone likes to get they all freaking have their mouths right checks that their ass can't cover. So after they get their ass whooped, then they want to sue you.
Yeah.
And if you kick the shit out of them, you just kick the shit out of some young punk. But if they beat you up, then you got your ass beat by some young punk. So there is a no-win situation there.
Yeah. It's just so bizarre. Like, I see stuff sometimes too. Like when I'm out and I see people argue, and I'm like, what are they accomplishing? Like,
nothing.
What is happening?
Nothing.
It's so fucking weird.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I
doubt that.
Words don't fucking hurt. Say whatever you want. I give a fuck.
Yeah. You're not really a confrontational person though, so I can't really ever see us being somewhere where that would happen anyway.
No,
like it's never happened now.
No,
we just walk away.
Just walk away because there's too much to lose. Like I said, either I'm going to lose everything I've built, or like the only 10 seconds of that fight they're going to show on YouTube is me kicking the guy in the face when he's on the ground and be like, oh, look at him. Then they won't show the full 3-minute video. Yeah. Of the person starting the shit.
Yeah.
You're more confrontational than I am.
Yeah, Kevin's definitely. I'm probably the one who would be the most confrontational.
I don't like confrontation, but it depends on the situation where I can go freaking red zone instantly, depending on what's happening, and not think of the consequences.
I would never if we were out and we were like.
You would so write a check my ass couldn't cash.
Me?
Yeah.
Have I ever done that?
No, I'm saying like in a situation like that. Like you would be the one that's confrontational.
Well, I'm not, but I'm saying is that we've been out a lot of times, and because I know how you are, you wouldn't have my back. I would fucking have to walk away.
I know how you are.
Kevin,
bail you out of jail.
Kevin, no, Kevin does not. Kevin
does
not.
Kev.
He does not like confrontation at all. Like so. If I was out with my friend Shady, now that would be a different story. Both of us would probably end up in jail because especially if we had too much to drink. But I don't get to that point anymore. You know, like I know now, like not to behave that way.
Plus, you know what?
Like it doesn't bode well for me to behave in that manner.
But you know what? Like I remember telling Joe the story. I said, this is true. But when I got to college, you know, my sophomore year group freshman came in. This guy came in who was definitely a great athlete, big dude, and found out that he was getting prospects from Division I, Division II schools, but he got in an argument with some guy. The guy was running his mouth, put his hands on him, and he punched him. Now, you're not being punched by a normal sized human being. You're being punched by a very large, very strong fucking dude. Hit the guy, and then when he fell, he knocked him out, and when he laid, he hit his head, ended up in the freaking hospital. Freaking, you know, out. He was in a coma, thought he was gonna die, and he got freaking arrested, everything else, and then all these bigger schools, no more interest. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, it's not even the fact that, you know, you could be doing something freaking not even bothering anybody, but it's that one moment where you clock someone and they freaking hit the ground and they die.
Yeah.
Or they get seriously injured. Yeah. Your whole life's ruined. Over what? Not being able to control your fucking response.
That's it. I feel like I have to amend what I said. I feel like if somebody was harassing me, you would have my back.
Without a doubt.
But I'm saying, like, if there was just rowdiness going on, you would just be like, I'd be turned around and Kevin wouldn't be there. He would just remove himself.
I would be dragging you away.
He would leave my ass. No, I'm just kidding. But, you know, like, we wouldn't put ourselves in that situation. I couldn't see us ever putting ourselves in that situation. I mean, we can't control, like, if we're out somewhere. It's like when we went to Halloween Horror Nights, like, you know, some people were being really stupid. We just moved, you know, like away from that part of the crowd. You know, I mean, that's just, it's like you can stand there and then there are people who like say they don't want to be part of the drama, but they get involved.
They instigate it.
Yeah. So we just remove ourselves. We're like, oh, they're just really drunk. Like
of drama.
Yeah, so you know, I just can't see ourselves ever being in that situation.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm 52 years old, and 20-year-old freaking Kerr is still back here.
Yeah.
Sure.
Going, dude, just knock him the fuck out, because you know what? They're sitting there running their mouths. You know, freaking kick that guy in the balls, hit that guy in the throat, and punch him in the face. Take all three of them out in a minute, and then you're just like, okay. I got to process this.
The only time I could see myself ever getting violent is if somebody tried to harm.
Well, that's a different story.
Us or the kids. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only time I could see myself, like, I think becoming unglued.
I still probably have I still have a handful of good ass beatings left in me. Yeah. And I'm saving them for if you mess with my family. That's I realize that, but you still have that freaking. I remember Joe. I picked Joe up at work, and he was working at Tipsy Taco, and he's like, "Man, there's a table in there. They were so rude. That the guy was obnoxious. He was cursing at us. And I'm in the car, and I was just like, every fiber wanted to put it in park, and then go and just like slam his head against the freaking. And I was like, well, how did you handle it, Joe? And he told me. I said, very good. That's how you handle it. You just got to walk away. You know, and freaking, I could still feel that freaking, you know, wanting to just go in and just annihilate the whole table, just go through, just start punching people. I don't give a shit. Listen, I don't care who you are. If you're a man or a woman, if you run your mouth and if you take a swing at me, you're going to get freaking hit just as hard. You are now at an equal plane.
I agree with that.
If you want to say, don't hit women, then don't take a swing at me.
That's a good topic. So you see a lot of this, like where people are like, oh, I was raised to never hit a woman. Like, okay, but women, it's okay for women to hit men.
I hit a woman once, took her to the fucking ground.
Did you really?
She hit me first. She hit me first, and I was working. I was I was manager of the Quick Lube here in Northport. And this belligerent woman didn't understand the system of what we pulled cars in, pulled someone else in ahead of her, but getting completely different service, you know, different bay. And she got like right in my face, started screaming at me, and so instantly started yelling back at her. And after like a minute, She open palm slapped me right across the face, and it was instant that I just reached back and just
slapped her back.
Put her to the ground, and then she was easily a foot shorter than me, and she was probably 5 foot tall, probably weighed 300 pounds, 280 pounds, fat little woman. And when the cops got there, she was red from her chin all the way to her ear, and her face was swollen.
What happened?
The cops said, luckily, we had customers there, and they all said she hit him first. Cop goes, nothing I can do about it, and asked me if I wanted to press charges, and I'm like, no. She, learned her lesson.
But
she was like, you need to arrest him. He hit a woman. And the cop goes, you hit him.
Yeah,
you assaulted.
We got all these witnesses,
person. But I find that interesting because that was like obviously a long time ago.
Oh,
so like now I feel like we are definitely in a more where we've come this far where I think women are held accountable now. But back then, that's interesting. You don't think so?
No, I don't think women still are held accountable.
Everybody wants what? Everybody wants to be equal, and everyone wants to be able to have their freaking balls or their fake balls or whatever they want. They all want to run their mouths. They want to take swings. But as soon as they get jacked up, then they want to pull the, oh, I'm a woman routine. I'm telling you, I've seen it. It's just, you quickly flip that switch back to the victim role. You flip back to the victim role. And I'm sorry. People can think whatever they want of me. But if you're going to have the intensity and the audacity to take a swing at me, whether you're a man or a woman, then you should fully be prepared for what will come back at you. And if your response after you get jacked up is, I can't believe you hit a woman, my thoughts are, I can't believe a woman would fucking take a swing at me, and you got what you deserved. We're equal at this point.
I don't know. I growing up, obviously, we were always, like my brother was always taught, like, you got to be respectful of women and stuff. But my dad, even my mom, was always like, you have to be respectful to people. Like, you can't just be like expecting.
Just being respectful. You don't get a free pass because of your gender. I mean, when it comes to physical violence, because my dad I had this girl when I was in grade school, used to run around and she used to scratch kids like she was.
Yeah.
And my dad said, "Look, we always tell you don't hit people, right? Especially girls. But if she comes at you, she scratches you, whack her back.
Scratch her back.
Whack her back." And she got a freaking whack one day, and I got in trouble from the nuns because I hit a girl, and I'm like, my arm's all bloody, and I'm like, Exhibit A, freaking, this is the evidence that I was attacked, but I don't know. I just think.
I agree with you though. I definitely think that there's.
And I don't think in this day and age anything's. I don't think anything has really changed with that. I think it is a really. I think you probably have more people that may not freaking flip that switch, but that switch is flipped so quickly. It's so easy when you got the balls, take a swing at someone, and then when you get your nose fucking bloodied, or you get a backhand, or you get a fucking whack.
But this is somewhat unrelated. When I was like about, I don't know, it was like I had to have been like 10. And we used to play. I remember when we'd have recess for school, like we would all be out like on this like concrete like pad, right? And like people would be playing basketball or just like running around doing stupid stuff. Well, I went to a school that was kind of rough when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. Like it was not like the safest, there was a lot of rowdy kids. Well, I remember I happened to just be like in the middle of like a breakout fight, and I got punched in the face by a boy, and that was my very first bloody nose. Like I had a black eye and everything, and I remember like he obviously got into trouble and stuff, but I was just like casualty of war. Like it wasn't like
your collateral damage.
Yeah, I was just like in the way. But I remember my mom had bought me this it was like those poofy like jackets because it was cold out, and it was purple, and it was like the ruffled jacket. It was like all like marshmallow puff like fucking jacket. It was completely stained. She was so pissed. She made his parents like buy me a whole new fucking jacket and stuff. But yeah, like I remember the first time I ever got punched was by a boy, and it was my first bloody nose, and it fucking hurt. It was fucking awful.
And there's some guys that deserve it. I mean, listen, I think whether you have a confrontation between two people, you're always going to have one who's going to be an instigator.
Yeah.
Someone's going to take a swing. And I get all that. So, I've seen guys that'll instigate, and girls. And listen.
Yeah, there's girls who do
but,
too.
But I also think that whether you're a man or a woman, if someone is instigating, you should have the freaking strength to not freaking take a swing at someone.
Yeah, like don't be goated.
And I think I was just out of college, and I was hanging out with my buddy. We were late at night at a freaking after hours bar, and I was literally leaning against the bar, just hanging out, drinking a beer, and he was just effing with this girl all night. And I was just sitting there minding my own business, and she came over, and he said something about a black belt. And I said, no, my belt's multicolored. I had one of those beach, hippie belts.
Yeah.
And she fucking smacked me.
What?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this was like 2:00 in the morning, so you realize everybody's probably fasting.
Yeah, okay.
So she whacked me. So I leaned back and I took my foot and I kicked her in the hip and shot her across the room. I was like, what the hell was that for?
You're like,
I didn't do anything. Why'd you hit me? Yeah, it's
fucking crazy.
And I know my buddy Matt, God rest his soul, he had just a way of torturing people. So I knew he's probably torturing her, and it was like the final straw. And I could have said good evening, and I would have got freaking whacked. But
yeah, you were just the last person, just to be in her crosshairs.
We used to tell the kids all the time. I tell them, if you're gonna take a swing at someone, you better be prepared.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a guy or a girl. You better be prepared that someone is not going to give a flying shit and they're going to jack you up.
I remember in high school, thinking so I seen tons of fights break out when I was in high school. And I honestly always was like, some of the kids that would be fighting, you would think, oh, the scrawnier, nerdier one would get their ass kicked. Hell no. They had so much pent up fucking anger. They were scrappy. And they would some, jockier type of guy would pick on them, and then they would just have had enough. And then the fight, and they would fucking fuck the other person up pretty good. Yeah. The person you would think
underestimate them.
Yeah, they underestimate how much their buttons have been pushed, and they're done. They're fucking done. They might have gotten hurt, but they fucking were gonna get their licks in too. But I think the worst.
No one will fuck with you after that.
After that, no. But the worst fights I've ever seen is between girls. They're brutal. Oh, yeah. They do some nasty shit to each other. I mean, they grab their hair, they bite, they scratch, they spit. They will fuck you up.
My sister.
I remember there was a couple girls that I used to be like, I don't ever want to fucking piss them off. Ever.
Yeah, my sister, growing up, I seen her get in one fight, and it was she looked like freaking those vampire movies where they just jump off the
and somehow she just got some ice
on top of someone. I was like, Jesus Christ! But even growing up, I'll never forget growing up. The cops showed up at my house, and I was probably 8, 7, and cops showed up, and they were like, hey, the guy with his kid. I think my sister, if I was probably 12 or 13. They're like, they said that your son beat up my older brother, beat up this kid and, stuffed leaves in his pants and blah, blah, blah. And my brother's sitting there watching TV, I was here the whole time. And here this kid was embarrassed. It was my sister.
He tried to blame it on your brother?
He was too embarrassed to blame it on my sister because my sister was wearing a cap and a guy was picking on her because she's a girl, took the cap off and wouldn't give it back to her. My sister beat the shit out of him and then shoved leaves down his pants.
I get a picture of doing that now.
And then his kid shows up with his dad and the cop saying my brother did it. My brother's like, I didn't do shit. Yeah. And then it came out. No, it was my sister. Yeah.
My God.
I didn't mess with her. She was
I was always the defender of the people who couldn't defend themselves. I used to not get into fights, but I would stand up for them, all the time. And a couple times I got into little scraps and stuff, but never anything where I feared for my life. You know what I mean? Because some of these girls were just nasty. They were just
Yeah.
ugly human beings. I don't know
stuck up for
where
all the
that
nerdy
comes
kids
from.
in college and high school. I stuck for a lot of nerdy kids. I actually freaking I had to rough up a few guys because they were pick. I was like, in a small school, and I was in the political science, major. So I'm sitting there, 240 pounds with a mohawk and a tank top with all these like nerdy, like Carlton Tucker looking kids, and we all kind of hung out and got along, and they were really nice. But then some they'd get bullied, and then I'd go and I'd freaking have a conversation. But I stopped defending my friends when I defended one too many people, and then I got in trouble because they started a fight because they knew my big friend was with me. So I'm gonna pick a fight, and they're like, "Hey, Kerr, these guys want to kick my ass. Can you help me out?" Yeah, sure. Let me get your back. And then I get in trouble, and I'm like, I'm getting in trouble.
I didn't do anything.
You keep running your fucking mouth, man. Like,
yeah.
If it was something, and it was something like innocent, or I seen someone picking on a buddy of mine and it was unprovoked, definitely. But if you're going to run your mouth and then just feel more comfortable running it because I'm in the same room, I had a buddy of mine I remember we were sitting there having a beer, and he had got me into one too many fights, and he's just like, "Hey man, this guy's been looking for me because I hooked up with his wife a couple of times, he comes in here. So if he comes in, you got my back." I was like, no.
Yeah.
Said you're on your own. Why? What I go, dude? First of all, you're sleeping with his wife, so that's gonna get your back ass beaten. Secondly, I'm not getting your back anymore because the last time you started a fight, I got into a fight and you hit under the pinball machine.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's true story.
You want to know what's interesting though? It's like Graham was very passive as a kid. Like I used to always tell him, like if he used to be like, "Oh, this kid's picking on me." I'm like, if he hits you, you hit him back, and he wouldn't. Like Graham just was that kid. Like not that he was afraid. He was just very kind. Like he didn't want to hurt another person, But I remember like he finally got pushed to a point, and like he got into a fight. He defended himself, and I got called to the principal's office, and they're like, "We were going to suspend him." I'm like, "You're absolutely not going to do that. He's never been in trouble before. He was defending himself. Like I'm proud of him, and you're not going to suspend him for something that another kid did to him, Like, sorry, not going to happen." But I
got bullied to 7th grade. In 7th grade, the kid was bullying me one day, and I beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, that's what happened with Graham. He just got tired of it.
And for some reason, I broke out of my shell. I wasn't so awkward and backward, and no one bullied me ever again. And I remember
sometimes that's what it takes.
Well, I remember years ago, these kids were bullying, Emma and Wyatt on the bus. It was a brother and sister, and the freaking sister was a very large girl for her age, and was picking on Wyatt, who was younger. And Emma, who was not that very big, defended her brother, and the girl punched her in the face and bloodied her nose, but she was sticking up for her brother. And I had to go down there, and it was like talking to these school officials, like, "Well, it happened on a school bus.
I know.
We really can't do anything," and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, listen, these kids, this is the second time I've been down here because of these kids. The freaking younger kid, told my daughter, "Suck my dick, you hoe." The kid was like in 2nd grade. I'm like, "You guys are going to do nothing about it." I said, "If I come down a third time, I'm not going to be discussing it with you. I'm going to be coming down. And if you think that freaking Hugo did damage to Charleston, you haven't seen anything. So this needs to be fucking rectified."
Yeah.
"Well, we're not going to suspend her. She'll miss school." I said, "Then do in-school suspension." "Well, we never thought of that." I go, "Yeah, because you guys want to freaking quickly just kind of brush this under the carpet."
Yeah.
And then they end up giving a girl in-school suspension, and they never fucked with my kids ever again. Gave ugly glares of shit, but Emma stuck up for her brother, and good for her. And I think, it pays off.
I know. Remember when, what was this like? This was like 2 years ago. Yeah, he was still in middle school, Wyatt. So there's a kid, just him and this kid just should not have been together near each other. They just were constantly having problems like throughout the whole school year. Well, they, for whatever reason, thought it was okay to put them near each other on the bus. And Wyatt was very vocal and would tell him all the time, no to this kid. This kid was always trying to touch him, and Wyatt was just like, no. So Wyatt hit him with the fucking belt buckle. And Wyatt got suspended. My Wyatt got suspended because he hit a kid with the fucking seatbelt buckle in the face. And it was all on video on the fucking bus. I was like, fucking hardcore. He was like, I said no. Boom.
That went from Wyatt hit him to Wyatt hit with the belt buckle. Hit him with the seatbelt buckle in the face.
In the fucking face. And I get this phone call and I was like, they're like, we sat him down and actually showed him the video to try to show him the seriousness of what he did. And he like, you know, acted like he was about to watch a fucking movie. Like, there's me. That's what he kept saying. There's me. That's Wyatt.
Yeah.
There I am. Look at me.
Yeah.
As they're playing.
Why it's like, watch this part.
Yeah.
This is right when I hit him in the face.
Look at that swing.
No,
Look at that follow through.
And I'm like, holy shit. I don't know how to respond to this. So obviously I already knew he was having problems with this kid. So, you know, I was like, look, fine. You want to suspend him? Fine. I'll keep him. It was like 2 days. He couldn't ride the bus. I was like, that's fucking fine. But I was like, why is it that, because I watched the video, I was like, why is it okay that this kid was doing what he was doing, but he's been doing this the whole time to Wyatt? I said, this is the breaking point. I go, there's an 8 on the bus. You can see the 8's kind of like letting it happen. I'm like, that's a problem. You know, not condoning
At
what
least
Wyatt
you watched
did.
the video. They wouldn't even show me the video.
Oh yeah, I made
They
them.
refused. They refused.
I like the fact that Wyatt's teachers were very aware of the situation with the 2 kids. Like that, you know, put aside the fact that they both have special needs, you know, like they're still people, they still have emotions, they still have feelings, and Wyatt was able to pretty much verbalize, but this kid didn't understand really what Wyatt, you know, the boundaries. There was no boundaries. Well, Wyatt set a boundary when fucking
that's the adult's fault for not freaking being smart enough to separate them.
Yeah, I was shocked by that, but I kept thinking, I can't fucking believe my kid fucking busted some kid in the face with a seatbelt buckle and I was like, thug life.
Our friend Butch, you know, who used to have a big anger management problem when he was younger, but Brian was being picked on, you know, when he was young, and he kept telling the kid stop. You know, finally he hit the kid. They called Butch down in the office, and so we're going to spend Brian. Like, no, you know, it's like same thing. It was, you know, all this documentation. These kids been picking on him. And then Butch had, Brian will say, you know, Butch got up to the principal's desk, cleared everything off the desk onto the floor, and then told me, he goes, I'm going to drag you outside and I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And you're going to keep telling me to stop, but I'm not going to listen. I'm just going to keep beating the shit out of you. And let's see how that works. And Brian's like, he's like a little kid. He's sitting there. His dad clears the principal's desk and just shouting at the principal, telling him he's going to whip his ass outside.
I could see Butch doing that.
Yeah.
I definitely see him doing that.
I wouldn't say, you know, you're talking about that kid in the truck. We were coming back from the tattoo shop after a session of being tattooed on our way to Applebee's to get some dinner, and some little punk in a car cut Butch off and flicked him off. And then what happens? We all get at a red light. You know, this kid, Butch, and then me. All of a sudden, Butch stops. I can see him in the back of his truck, puts it in park, gets out, walks up to the kid, starts banging on the glass. It's like, I'm gonna whip your ass. And this is at that time Butch is 50, you know, and just pounding on the guy's glass, and the kid just wouldn't roll down his window, wouldn't do anything.
Shit, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Either.
Oh yeah, big. I mean, 6'3", tattooed, beard. I think Butch had a mohawk at the time.
Unhinged. Like he had that unhinged look in his eyes. I'll fucking kill you.
I remember I was in Pittsburgh, and there was leaving Presbyterian, when you would get on this main street, it was where all the college kids would just kind of walk around with their freaking earphones and not pay attention and just would walk. There was always someone was always getting hit and getting killed on this road, right? Just because it was heavily populated. There was bars, you know, stuff. And I seen this car in front of me turn. This kid was walking across with his head down, earphones in, and stopped and like slammed his hands on the car. And like 6'5" black dude gets out and just goes, "What are you doing?" This kid was just like, you know, hands on the car, just like, he freaking ran away. It was like when the wrong guy gets out of the car you know, when you want to run your mouth, like you said, you flip someone off until you get to the red light. And you're like, yeah, I'm sorry, sir.
There was like a time like where road rage was really, really bad though. Like people had lead bats and
but like Kerr said, like now you don't know because I mean, especially here in Florida, you come up to my car and you start pounding on my glass. I have every right. I fear for my life. If I just shoot you right through the glass.
A cop will say if you have people are like, oh, I have a gun, but it's not loaded. And he goes, what are you gonna do? Throw it at them?
Yeah.
Like load it.
You're gonna pull an unloaded gun out to scare someone. They're gonna pull out a loaded gun and shoot you.
Yep.
My buddy Greg he told me this was years ago. He always carries a taser with him. You know?
Yeah, lots of people have tasers.
And he's like, freaking some guy, he did the same thing, got out, he was getting out of his car in a parking lot. You know, this guy came out running his mouth. He's like, listen, don't take another step. I feel intimidated. I feel like I'm feeling threatened. Just don't do it. I got a taser. The guy started running his mouth, took 2 steps. He just said, pop. Boop, boop, boop. He called the cops.
Yeah, as he's tasing.
Yeah.
It's like,
he goes, I got a taser because I don't want to shoot anybody. I don't want to kill anybody.
Jen, do you carry mace with you or anything like on your keychain, or do you have like? No. Yeah, I don't either. I probably have thought about it at times, but I don't really.
Honestly, I'd end up hurting myself if
I feel the same way. Like I would spray myself in the fucking face.
Yeah, it really would not
be like a Chevy Chase scene.
In college, I did my college roommate in the dorms. My first year, her dad was a cop in Long Island, so he got us mace on our keychains. Yeah. You know, being young girls in Boston, but I can't imagine flipping it up, making sure no.
Yeah. I don't know.
Jen just yells stranger danger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blows her whistle.
You're supposed to yell fire.
Yep. Fire.
Yeah.
Fire flower.
Fire flower. That's our password. Our code word.
Fire flower.
Yeah. It's people are just freaking crazy, man. They just are. And
I know. At work, I used to have an employee that used to always complain to me about people like, oh, they're stealing. First off, the fact that people steal from Goodwill still blows my mind. But anyway, he would always get so upset. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not losing my life for fucking used items. Like, not happening. That person who's running out the door clearly is desperate enough to steal from fucking Goodwill. I don't know what kind of crazy. I don't know what kind of desperation level they're at. I don't want to fucking die
People
today.
Are just at a different level these days.
No,
and
I'm not dying over a fucking used pair of shoes.
Well, that you got these states that have decriminalized everything.
Yeah, there's a lot,
California, you're allowed to steal $500 and legally
have you
now.
Seen some of those videos of like, there's nothing they can do. They literally
they walk into CVS, Walgreens, and they just walk right out.
Yeah.
I watched one from Ulta. Like those poor girls. I was like, I actually felt like scared for them at one point because I thought the lady was gonna get violent with them. But she stole so much from Ulta, and there was nothing they could do.
Home Depot in certain communities now.
The pedestrians are like,
the wheels lock. So if you have something in your car, as soon as you go through like those two stands, all 4 wheels lock up on the cart, so they can't keep pushing it out.
Michael's has the same type of or no, it's not Michael's, it's Bed Bath and Beyond. Bed Bath and Beyond, like you can't leave the store.
Cart can only go so far.
Can only go so far.
Yeah.
Come back with that painting.
I know. You have a whole cart full of Michaels and you're stealing $18.95.
Because Michael's is right next to Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yeah.
I knew it was one of those. There's like Best Buy, Michael's, and Bed Bath, but they have those carts that like. Believe it or not, Michael's is fucking expensive. I was just in there the other day, and they jack
up their prices. That's why they always have sales.
Yeah.
How much shit?
That was in the news.
Everybody does that. It's not a Michael's thing. It's 40% off.
Michael's is always expensive.
Michael's is expensive
compared to AC Moore. And
I was just watching the whole thing on the CEO of JC Penney. The one CEO a couple years ago.
Still JC Penney?
Yeah. That he only lasted like 9 months. Because he got rid of all the discounts and he just discounted everything. Like t-shirts were always 40% off, whatever it was. He's like, we're going to stop all that. Just lower the t-shirts, lower everything. It's 40% off.
But people like thinking you're getting a fucking
and it
discount.
tanked.
The word discount.
Yeah, same thing. Business tank. He was out, and but yeah, because he tried to be smart, and yeah.
Well, that's crazy. But yeah, those carts and stuff. But I've seen where people now are Walmart, Home Depot, where
I've seen people get
are
involved.
they're not letting people walk out, especially at Home Depot. Like a lot of the contractors and stuff are like, "Fuck you, you're not."
I see a guy at Home Depot trying to pull out a cart. I'm getting involved. You're not on my watch. Not. That's
not worth your life.
The people that are stealing. You see the videos. They're not the people that are going to threaten you.
I chased down people who stole from Home Depot once. I just moved into Cranberry Township in Pittsburgh. It did, and I was driving my company cars at Explorer, and I was pulling in. As I'm pulling in, these two guys are running by me, and they both had flat screen TVs, and I'm like, and the first thing I thought was, these assholes just running right in front of me.
Yeah, with a TV.
And I start pulling up, and I see these old ladies running behind them, with the pad and a paper, trying to get there. So I see these guys hop in a scar, and they take off, and I'm like, they had a lot of shit. So I'm like, I followed them. I started chasing after them. I called the cops, and I'm like, hey, I'm on this road. I mean, they freaking went up the highway. They freaking went over the median. I followed them, and then the freaking cops said, someone's on their way. And I go, okay. So I actually I passed them, and then I got in front of them, and I slowed down, and every time they go around me, I wouldn't let them go around me until the cops then came up and pulled them over.
Nice.
And then they arrested him, and the cop, I think, called me a week later, and he's like, he goes, they would have gotten away with that if you would have. He goes, one of the guys was on parole, and he's gone away for a while, and he's like, man, Home Depot is probably going to hook you up. I never got a call, never got a thank you, nothing.
Home Depot.
I had a call coming back to see Abe. I don't know, probably 2 years ago now, in a whole line of all these supercars just being dicks coming across Alligator Alley, weaving in and out of traffic, doing, I don't know, 150, 160 mile an hour, just being assholes. And one of the cars, and it was a Porsche, and it was a state trooper Porsche, and it was obviously a fake state trooper. So snapped a picture of the license plate, and I called Star FHP. They answer. I go, hey, you guys got any Porsches, state troopers coming down Alligator Alley? And they're like, no, we don't. So I gave them the license plate, and I actually just took a picture, and then, another trooper called me, and I texted it to him. And, I don't know whatever happened to that, but I remember making a post on Facebook.
Yeah, I remember this now that you said that, but I'm
like, hey, if you're going to impersonate a cop, just make sure nobody gets your license plate number.
That is scary. I will not pull over unless I feel like that's legit. I will keep driving into a more busy area before I pull over for any cop. It doesn't matter, which is smart. I'm not going to just be like, oh, okay, it's dark and there's a light out and I'm going to pull over because this cop is behind me. Always go where it's well lit. Always go where it's more popular.
Yeah, I've had friends of mine that are cops say that,
fucking way I'm pulling off on the side.
They're always recording. So it says, first thing you do is you go well under the speed limit. Yeah. You get in the right lane. So even on a recording, it's obvious that you're not trying to get away. You're not trying to flee. You're going well below the speed limit. Yeah. And then just be calm and get off at a well-lit area.
No fucking way.
Because I know our local police department, or not local, the next one over. Actually, Northport just got it too, for Craigslist and stuff, meeting people on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. Mm-hmm. They have a little thing right outside the police department. Yeah, they've got a camera looking straight, so you can do all your transactions
nice.
at
a safe area.
At the police department. There's a camera. It says,
think about how many people have fucking had bad shit happen to them before they had this master idea.
That was killed in Greenville.
Yeah,
he thought he was went to sell his radio. 2 young kids shot him and killed him. High school.
So sad. Just sad. Yeah, I'm really watching all these crime things on Netflix right now, into the mastermind of criminals, and then I'm watching the ones that have been put away that are innocent, and like the Innocence Project that's come through and like helped find like that these people were wrongly convicted and all this stuff. Some of the stories are just like mind blowing, like how far we've come from like the 80s with, you know, like DNA, but people were put away just because someone said, yeah, that looks like the person that did it.
So in case something happens to me, she's been watching all of these crime dramas.
Yeah, no, I got you and my brother-in-law. My sister watches
order a second autopsy.
Yeah.
Order a second autopsy. Get a second opinion. She knows what she's doing.
No, I don't. I'm not watching where they're telling me how to do stuff, Kevin. What the?
Well, no, you're hearing a story about how they did it and got caught.
Well, they don't go.
And Jessica's like, I'll be smarter than that.
They don't. They can't go.
Sounds like sis.
Listen, some of the stuff that I tried to watch that did go into a little bit more graphic, I couldn't stomach. So I don't really gravitate towards like watching, and mostly I'm listening to it. I'm not even watching it. But I feel like it's so crazy about like
your alibi, Kev.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Right now she's backtracking, backpedaling.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I mean, I watch more Tom and Jerry than I do.
I mean, I take notes just so I don't get lost in the story. I mean, I'm not taking notes for any other reason.
Whatever. Listen, it would be more me who's going to end up. Kevin's going to snap one day and be like,
never find your body. They would never find it. I am smart. Yeah.
And this is all on film.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Building permits are public knowledge. You find out who's putting a septic tank in. You know, then you bury a body 3 feet below a septic tank. By the time they put that in, they will never find a body, ever.
God, Kevin.
God,
wow, he's really thought about it.
Yeah. You didn't
got
hear
a Google search of septic tanks being put in a local area.
His browser history.
Yeah, so him fucking trying to say that I would do something fucked up. Maybe we should all be worried about Kevin over here.
Never find the body, ever. Yeah.
It was pretty detailed.
Yeah. God, Kevin, that was fucked up.
Good to know.
On that note, it looks like I'll be cutting out the last 5 minutes of this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna help you out preemptively, Kevin.
Yeah.
We're all accomplices. We're all part of it.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you know? I don't know.
Except for me, I'm the one who's dead under a septic. Hello.
Yeah.
But Jess always said you take Kevin's side. I don't know.
Yeah. You take Kevin's side on this.
I thought Kevin said sepsis. I thought he was talking about infection.
I don't know.
I don't know anything about it.
Oh my god!
On that note, I'm Broadleaf Bully Kevin.
I'm Broadleaf Bully Jess.
I'm Broadleaf Bully Kerr.
I'm Broadleaf Bully Jen.
And remember, bullies make good friends.
From Kev, Jess, Kerr, and Jen, we are the Broadleaf Bullies. Thank you for joining us, and remember, bullies make good friends.